who also happens to be the former registrar of the university, Professor P. Vijayalakshmi. We have the other members of the International Relations Office, Professor R. Usha, Dr. Himabindu and others. We have the faculty of the Department of English taking part in this webinar. Professor M. Neeraja is here and the other faculty are also joining. And we also have faculty, scholars, students, mainly from the Department of English and also from the Department of Communication and Journalism and other departments. I extend a warm welcome to all of you to this webinar. We also have members from outside the university. So I welcome all of you to this webinar. Before I hand over the mic to Professor P. Vijayalakshmi, the Dean of International Relations, I have an announcement to make. After the speaker finishes her talk, you are free to interact with her. Because of network issues and to avoid audio disturbances, all the participants are muted excepting a few of the speakers here. So please feel free to enter your questions in the chat box. The speaker will be very happy to answer them. So make use of this opportunity. Now over to you, ma'am, Vijayalakshmi.
A very good afternoon. We have the Dean, School of Sciences, and the organizer, Professor Hari Padmarani, and the important guest, Dr. Mallika Vatlamani. I think the common connection, and also the Himabindu, my own International Relations Office member, and Neeraja and other students, I'm very happy and extend a very warm welcome. I'm really happy that to see, I think the common connection between Hari Padmarani and Mallika is not only the language, but also I think the music. I just saw that, Carnatic vocalist, so happy to see that. And we also offer, courses to the international students in USA, an advanced diploma in music. So we had a discussion to organize a meeting or a kind of a webinar with an external expert with Hari, and I think it's just materialized in a week time. So thank you, Dr. Mallika, and I really appreciate Professor Hari Padmarani for organizing this event. The objective is, in brief, to have a different kind of exposure to the students, and also the faculty will have some kind of interaction. Though Mahila University was established in 1984, since then, university has entered into the MOU with many universities across the globe and organizing joint seminars and projects and all. But then in 2016, officially, the university has established an international relations office, to keep pace with the, globalization and the recent NEP. And we started offering courses to the international students, as I'm sure you know. We offer advanced diploma in music and kuchipudi by entering into the knowledge partners, who are the registered bodies in different countries. And we recently entered into another MOU with a music institution in Singapore also. And so far, we trained around 2,000 students, and every year we have around 500 students. I'm so proud of my music department, Lakshmi Garu and Dr. Shaileshwari and Dr. Himabindu are really contributing to this part. And apart from this, we also have an MOU with the BTH Institute in Sweden, Blending Technology Institute, which is the third in the world in terms of research contribution in engineering field. So we have an MOU with them. Our engineering students study here the first 3 years, and the 4th year they go to the Sweden. And we also have, it's a dual degree program. So we transfer the 3 years credit to the BTH Sweden. And we also have international PhD students from different parts, Saudi, Malaysia, Singapore, and Dubai and USA. And they're really doing extremely well, doing very good job in terms of research. Some of them even applied for a patent. So I'm really very proud to say that international students are doing very, very well. And we're also looking forward some interesting collaborations are coming up where, our students will do some kind of summer internships in other countries, and they come here, do internships in our university. So this is about briefly about the international relations, and I'm really happy. And I would like to say that maybe in future we will involve you as a panelist, because our vice chancellor is very keen to start an overseas educational unit to support the students who want to study abroad. I think these talks are quite helpful. So thank you, Dr. Mallika, for accepting and sharing your thoughts on this topic. And I once again appreciate Professor Hari. You really did, a very, very short span of time. Thank you. Thank you.
So the entire credit should go to Mallika, who readily agreed to be our guest. And now it's my turn to introduce Mallika before I request her to speak. Mallika is a fine scholar of English, music, and Telugu, and she is an equally fine performer of Carnatic vocal music and a much loved MA classmate of mine. Mallika Vadlamani has a master's degree in English language and literature from the University of Hyderabad. After completing her postgraduate studies, she worked for several years teaching English at undergraduate as well as high school levels. Her primary areas of interest are biography, autobiography, feminism, spirituality, and areas of creative nonfiction in general. She has recently completed a master's program in creative nonfiction writing from Southern New Hampshire University, USA. Her spiritual memoir, Lily Pads, was submitted towards thesis for the program. Having moved to the United States over 20 years ago, Mallika focused on, besides her family, her twin passion, Carnatic music. As a trained vocalist in the art form, she has been performing at various temples and organizations around the United States. She teaches Carnatic music to interested and talented children in her area and runs a music school by the name Swaranjali School of Music. She is currently working towards a master's degree in Carnatic music from the University of Silicon, Andhra, and is scheduled to graduate this summer. Mallika's literary journey has gradually nudged her towards areas of creative nonfiction and literary journalism. She is inspired by the idea of a reconciliation between spirituality and feminism, particularly through the study of female mystics across traditions and across nations. She is currently working on 2 projects, a collection of flash essays titled Mopping with Mozart and a comparative narrative of Saint Teresa of Avila and Sri Ramakrishna of Dakshineswar, titled To Be One with God. Mallika currently lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, with her husband and 2 children, and also with her dog Oreo. At present, Mallika is also working on Ramaraja Bhushna's Vasucharitra in Telugu, trying to decipher the author's views on music. So I'm very happy, Mallika, to have you here. Never did I imagine when we were classmates that I would get an opportunity like this, where I would be introducing you the way I'm doing today. Thank you, Mallika, and over to you now.
Thank you, Hari, for that lovely introduction. I don't know if I deserve all that praise, but I certainly appreciate all the warmth and love. And before I begin, I just a small reminder, if at any point you find that the audio is buffering or if you cannot hear me well, please just let me know on the chat box. I'll try to fix it. So I'm extremely happy to be here today, and I feel honored to be in the presence of virtual presence. Of course, we are living in a virtual world now of all these distinguished scholars, professors, faculty members, and all the students who are interested and passionate about literature studies. I would like to begin by extending my heartfelt thanks to the Department of English, Padmavati Mahila Viswavidyalayam, and all of its distinguished faculty members who are present here today. I would also like to extend my thanks to the Office of International Relations and all of its distinguished members. And My personal thanks and a lot of love to Professor Haripadma, who has encouraged me to do this and has been instrumental in me getting this opportunity to talk about a few things that I know about English studies here in America and share whatever I know with your students. And last but not the least, my thanks and my hearty welcome to all the students of the department who have tuned in, and also those outside of the department who have tuned in to listen today. Now, with that introduction, I would like to start with a disclaimer. I am here today as a student, primarily as a student, and I am here to share, like I said before, my experience and what I know and all the surprising and pleasant discoveries I have made in my own journey in trying to enhance my educational qualification after I moved from India to America. So, a small personal note. Yes, I moved to USA pretty soon after my master's. And at that point, I was actually in the process of pursuing a PhD from Andhra University. Because I moved abroad, the logistics became so complicated, so I had to give up. And for a long time, I was pretty disheartened and I really did not know where to turn. But once I started navigating the whole process of getting into academics back in the US and what is available in English departments, I was really not only encouraged, inspired, but I was beating myself up because I should have started that process long, long ago. I waited for almost 20 years before I did anything further. In the meantime, I was focusing on my music and teaching. But here is the thing. The first thing I would like to say to all the students who are listening in there, English studies has traveled way, way, way further from the traditional study of Shakespeare or Browning or contemporary American literature, Indian American English. You all know all the genres. No matter what area you want to focus on, no matter what you want, I'm going to talk soon about all the career options that are available. No matter what, the golden rule for a student of English literature is to be a reader. You got to read like there is no tomorrow. And you got to make time to read anything and everything you can lay your hands on. That habit, by the way, we are hearing of late, not too recent, but pretty much recent of late, of how in the corporate world, you go up the ladder if you are a reader. Because the reading, as you all know, expands our mental horizons to an extent where we are able to imbibe the world, its information, and we are able to interact with the world so much better because of reading. And those of you who might be aspiring to be writers, you got to be a reader before you become a writer. So that is just a piece of personal advice from me. So I'm going to start. I was trying to share my screen. Let me start talking while I figure this out. So firstly, I want to talk about the two, by the way, I'm going to discuss primarily about master's level studies in English in America. So there are two broad categories. One is MA and the other is MFA, Master of Fine Arts. One second, please. I'm trying to share my screen. Please bear with me for a second.
No problem, Malika. We will wait. Please figure it out. No problem at all.
Yes. Is it working?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's working.
I have to do this manually. Okay. There's something wrong with the... All right. So broad categorization of English studies, as I was talking, you have first the traditional masters in English. Okay. Universities and colleges across America offer this. You have your usual textual study. You do your age by age genres. You have your romantic literature, Shakespeare, whatever. The other area is Master in Fine Arts, where Master in Fine Arts is offered, I'm sure you all are already aware, in all performing arts, not only just English, but you have it in music, dance, whatever. And of course, in English, the focus is on creative writing. But here is interesting. There are some other master's courses that offer this creative writing too. We will come to it later. So these are the two broad categories. Now, how I want to go about this component is I want to compare, give you an idea of courses offered in two universities. One is the university where I did my master's here. The other, I randomly selected Carnegie Mellon University. You could Google any university from Harvard to Yale to any name that occurs to you, and you go to the English department, and you will be, it's mind-blowing the number of courses and the variety of genres that are offered there, depending on one's own interests. Now, Southern New Hampshire University, where I studied, is a small not-for-profit university. It has a massive online presence. It has several accreditations, and relatively, finance is being a very important component. It is a relatively less expensive college because it's a not-for-profit organization compared to others like, let's say, Harvard or Columbia or Carnegie Mellon. Now, as you can see, you have your MA in English. They offer it online and on campus. You have the Shakespeare, Victorian literature, romantic literature, American modernism. You have African American literature. You have gender studies too there. So these are, some are electives, some are mandatory courses. Then you have their Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. It's a very interesting program. They offer it online. They also have something called low residency here, where they set up a small physical campus somewhere, and very few state students are accepted per year. And it's like a very intensive writing workshops and guidance. So if you, as you can see, the MFA in creative writing at SNHU, it offers concentrations in ranging from science fiction to young adult, mystery, and a lots more. It's a 2-year program. And then what I did, and again, I would like to talk towards the end, time permitting, I would like to talk in detail about the courses I did in this program. MA in creative writing. This is online. It is self-paced. I took over 3 years to complete it. It is a term-based and not semester-based. You have 10 weeks. A course is 10 weeks. So once the ball starts rolling on the course, it's like crazy. You almost have to work 24/7 because the work involved is pretty intensive. So it has concentrations, as you can see, in fiction, non-fiction, poetry, and screenwriting. This is just to give you an idea of what is there to study to begin with. Then, like I said, a random check of Carnegie Mellon University Department of English, let us say. Again, what is listed here is master and doctoral level studies. Just that. I will talk about the undergrad level studies in a minute. So, if you see, you have Masters of Global Communication and Applied Translation. I was a bit disappointed to see Telugu was not listed as one of the languages there. Maybe they will in future. You have Masters of Literary and Cultural Studies, Masters of Professional Writing, Masters of Rhetoric. And they offer PhD in 2 streams, Literary and Cultural Studies and Rhetoric too. Apparently every year, because PhDs in most universities here are fully funded. So apparently they take just about 2 or 3 students per year in these departments. Now, moving on to, before I move further, firstly, I was again blown over by what they say about the English department offering at undergrad level at Carnegie Mellon. Undergrad is our graduate, what we call graduate in India. It took me a long time to get used to this. We say graduate, they say undergrad, okay? And what they call graduate is actually our masters. I'm sure you're all aware of it. I'm just thinking aloud. So, undergrad level programs, writing and communication, because at undergrad you have to major. You have to declare your concentration. Creative writing, film and visual media, how interesting is that? Then literature and culture, professional writing, technical writing, humanities analysis. Gender studies is a huge field here, okay? And then global communication and so on. At any point, Haripadma or anybody at any point, if you would like to interrupt and ask a question, you're welcome. Just say. Now since we have started this, I have started talking. I want to stop myself here and speak of something very important that I discovered too late. In India, when we are doing our studies in humanities and arts, undergrad or degree is 3 years and master's is 2 years. In the US, no matter what area you're working in, the undergrad has to be 4 and master's 2. So you need a 4+2. So if any of you in future are going abroad or going to live abroad and you want to pursue your studies, you have to understand that the 3+2 format we have here, if we do that and come here, it is not considered as a completed master's. So I had to get my qualification evaluated. There are agencies who evaluate your qualification officially, and those evaluations are accepted by the universities. So when I had mine done, it came out as undergrad plus 1 year of master's. So master's incomplete. So I was left with an incomplete PhD and an incomplete master's. That's what happened. So this is just something, it so happens things have changed now. I came here 20 years ago. It so happens that I had to navigate through the process by myself. I wish it helps to have a mentor or a friend or some help from somewhere. But this is a point to be noted that 3+2 is not accepted here as an undergrad plus master's. You have to have a 4+2. 4 year +2. All right. Now, this subject is so broad and so vast that I have planned on giving a general overview, a bird's eye view of the whole scene and the dynamics around English studies. It is definitely not exhaustive. There is a lot more. This is just tip of the iceberg. Now, you do your master's, whatever. I'm sure all of you are familiar. I will say this in Telugu. I know most of you, if not all, would understand Telugu. So they used to say, ఇంకేమి చదువు రాకపోతే ఇంగ్లీష్ లిటరేచర్లో జాయిన్ అవుతారు అందరూ. That the English literature studies is the refuge, last refuge of a person who is ready to give up on herself. And there is a corollary to that, by the way. My Guru Garu used to say, music, that parents would bring their kids to her and say, మా అమ్మాయికి చదువు రావట్లేదండి, కొంచెం సంగీతం చెప్పండి. అంటే చదువు రాకపోతే సంగీతం, మా గురువు గారు చెప్పేవారు, చదువు రాకపోతే సంగీతం కూడా రాదండి. It's interesting that I am working on both areas which are considered as the last refuge for people who can't do anything else. So why I brought that up? The world has plenty of opportunities out there for those who are willing to think outside the box. This is no longer the world of just traditional STEM studies, your engineering, your medicine, your chartered accountancy, or your law, maybe, perhaps in India, even that, is dismissed most of the time. No matter what field you select, if you have the passion for it, if you are willing to work for it, there are several opportunities. Now, as you can see, you do English literature or English studies, then what is there? If you are moving to America, what is there? Firstly, the focus must be on enhancing the qualification. It's very, very, very important. We should not be stuck somewhere where we were 20 years ago. Secondly, career. You can be a teacher. You can be teacher at school level, at community college level, and at regular universities, it gets a bit tough. You need to earn a PhD first, but there are various avenues. Okay, and for teaching with a master's in English, yes, you can at entry level, like a substitute teacher, you can get in and perhaps become a regular full-time teacher. You will have to add to your qualification by getting a certification in education. There are certifications ranging from 1 year to 4 years. And then after that, you have opportunities in the publishing industry. There are several publishing houses where you can work from administrative level to actual executive level. Public relations is a huge thing. Everybody is familiar with it. Advertising, TV and film. You do a master's in screenwriting. Yes, you start off by producing your own show in a small way. We have Netflix and Amazon who provide a lot of opportunities. Or you start by interning with someone in the film industry. TV and film as screenwriters, dialogue writers, script writers, plenty of opportunities. What you need is command of the language. That's what they look for at the end of it. Technical writing is such a popular field the world over, we all know. So is content editing. Literary journalism is nothing but it's a journalism with a twist. It is also called immersion journalism because it is a person is writing about, let us say, a certain period of time, the happenings during a certain period of time, of which she may or may not be a part of. So this is a narrative where you speak of nothing personal, not your opinions, not your feelings, but you're narrating the whole story of what happened at a particular period of time. Basically current, or last. It cannot be historical. That would be a historical narrative. So, and give an analysis of the whole thing through intense research. It has to be researched, it has to be fact based, but it should not be personal. It's quite a growing field in the US now. And then, last but certainly not the least, it's one of the very, very popular areas, freelance writing, editing. Some of us want to be writers, poets, dramatists. Why not? Anybody can be a writer if you sit and write. It's as simple as that. You write, you're a writer. Because you write the first draft, you would want to throw it into the dustbin. Then you come to the 10th draft, then you're like, hey, maybe I can actually send it for publication. To be a writer, remember, you have to be a reader. So, and editing, there are plenty of editing opportunities online. I'm sure that is there all over the world. Since today our focus is on what is happening in the USA, I'm just sort of confining myself to the scene in America. But plenty of opportunities, especially online editing. That is a field I am personally interested in. And I hope that gives sort of, like I said, a bird's eye view of what a person can do once she does an MA in English literature. What would I like to talk about next? So you might ask me, okay, I do MA in English literature and you are saying there are all these paths open. How do I get about it? What are the resources? Plenty of resources. I must tell you, I just know of a few, but it's a full-time job identifying resources, which I'm currently in the process of doing after completing my master's. So everybody knows Upwork.com. So if you are looking for employment opportunities, for freelance editing opportunities, I really go to Upwork.com a lot. It is just one of the websites. I'm sure you know a lot more now. And then local libraries, it's not listed in this screen here, but local libraries in America are of such fantastic. I wish we have a British Council libraries when I was studying in India, but I really, really wish that India is a major presence in English studies globally. There is emphasis on libraries outside of university. Universities have fantastic libraries. I'm aware of that. I'm talking of local libraries funded by the government with the taxpayers' money. Such resources, fantastic collection of books from the latest to the older ones. Then workshops are conducted, book clubs are conducted in the libraries, and then they conduct something like workshops explaining about employment opportunities for those who are seeking jobs. So to be involved in the library, to volunteer in the library, you get the know-how of how to seek a job, how to seek some other opportunity. Or if you are a writer and you want to publish a book, where can you go? So the libraries are a fantastic resource. Then for those who are again aspiring writers, it's a fantastic scene out here. You have writing workshops, you have writing webinars conducted by those who are into teaching writing. There are some, I attend very regularly webinars and writers workshops conducted by people like Elizabeth Jarrett Andrews, Jane Friedman. These are all local to America, I would say. And I have a feeling, I haven't dug into it, but in India also, I'm sure there are plenty of opportunities where writers are willing to share their craft with you. And then there are local writing groups, writers' conferences you attend. So there are invitees there. And those writers share their work, read from their work, and talk about the craft of writing. And people who attend the writers' conferences are not only aspiring or established writers, There are also students of master's program, and there are people seeking opportunities in the publishing industry, people already in the publishing industry. These are all the people who attend these writers' conferences. They are just fantastic. Now, supposing you want to know, hey, I have written something. So what do I do? How do I know where to send it? I follow very regularly this website called Geotrope. It's a paid subscription. It is very, very inexpensive. So you get regular newsletters. Literally shows you publications accepting submissions, publications closed for submissions, literary agents accepting. Literary agent is another profession that you can take up after doing a master's in English, where you help others publish their books. It's a fun job. People come scrabbling to you, but it's again requires a lot of hard work. So my idea here is to give you a broad view of what you can do if you are seeking for a job, or what you can do if you are a writer and if you want to publish something. It's a hard task. It's uphill. There isn't a lot of money here. That's a different thing. But not everybody who writes becomes famous overnight. Not everybody becomes an Arundhati Roy overnight. But it's okay. It's good. Now, since nobody is interrupting me, I would like to continue with whatever else I want to say. So now we have discussed the careers. We have discussed the areas of study. I hope you got a clear idea of the different areas of study. And like I said, please go on to our good old Google and just choose whatever university and go to the English department. It just gives you an idea of the things that are happening, the things that you can do. Somebody with a master's in creative writing, with the concentration in screenwriting or something else, can produce a documentary drama. There is an opportunity for you. So now I want to talk at this point about what I personally did in my master's from Southern New Hampshire University in creative writing in English with concentration in nonfiction. I chose nonfiction because that's my passion. You have to discover your passion. Okay, so there were courses, there were texts, but there is no instruction. It's all self-paced and self-driven. But there are pretty much assignments, midterms, final exams, 11:59 p.m. deadlines, and there's plenty. You should be, for every course, I had to put in about 4 hours of work per day, per course. So because a course is only 10 weeks, it's very, very intensive. And there was no shortcut, So we studied gender and text. There was a course on editing. Those who want to become editors in future. What are the two major types of editing? You have micro editing, you have macro editing. I would like to say my biggest surprise, shocking surprise when I did my editing course was The Great Gatsby. You all know The Great Gatsby by Fitzgerald. Went through about 100 revisions before the actual book came into our hands. So that is the role of the editor. Without an editor, nobody can publish a book. Self-editing is too subjective. Because what we write, we feel it's fantastic. And if you show it to our mom or some family member, they say, oh, my child wrote this. It is so beautiful. But you need to go to a neutral person. So either you write and go to an editor or you become an editor. Either way, it is a fantastic area. We did literary theory. It was similar to what we did in India, literary theory, but it was different in its approach. In the sense, our minds, I would say for those 10 months, the professor took off our minds outside of our heads and put some fresh brains, said, this is how you have to analyze this text. And he would pass us through the grade only if we analyzed the text through the instructions given by him. I found it very annoying, but I realized later that you have to train your mind to see things in a certain way. Sometimes that helps in an academic setup. Now, we did nonfiction fundamentals, a seminar on writing instruction. And you know what that was? I had to actually pretend that I'm going to be a teacher, or I had to prepare a syllabus, a lesson plan, and all for a class, complete with minutest detail. So it was a good exercise for me. If I plan to become a teacher at a school one day, it was a good exercise. Then we did study story concept, studying the craft, all that, what involves, what is involved in writing, plot, setting, theme, all these elements of writing. Then we had a course specifically about publishing, the publishing industry, what are the types of publishing, what do you do to get into the publishing industry, and so on. And the last course was thesis writing. We had to produce a manuscript of about 35,000 words. I chose to write a memoir. We can, So how much am I running over time, Hari Padma? Do I have few more minutes?
Yeah. Malika, perhaps in another 10 minutes, will you be able to wind up?
Perfect. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all I need. Yes. Thank you. So in this context, I would like to talk to you. Now, that is an overview of MA, MFA, English Studies, career paths that are out there. And there is plenty more. Please, keep doing your research. Keep the mind open. I just wanted to share with you something I'm so passionate about, the area of creative nonfiction. That almost feels like an oxymoron, but a creative nonfiction. And I love the little line, the one line that defines the area. True stories well told. You want to write about yourself. Oh, I hurt my little pinky finger. I jammed it in the door today. Oh, it hurts. Then people will say, oh, so what? Grow up. Okay. So something happened to you. Yes. How do you say that? How do you say it in a nice and beautiful way? Okay. And not just saying it nicely. How does it appeal to the reader? And what is its relevance to the reader? So the personal to the universal. Anything that you express the personal. Wordsworth saw daffodils. We all see daffodils. We walk by. We all see roses, jasmines, whatever. He saw daffodils. He came up with a beautiful poem. It tugs at our heartstrings even today. That is personal to the universal. You all know that already. So this whole field of creative nonfiction is a new thing in the US, but it has become very, very, very popular. I did not add here. There is one person called Lee Gutkind, who is the father of creative nonfiction. He single-handedly has brought this field to the notice of people, and he's making it stand on itself, by itself, strong and steady as a field of writing and study. So memoir is a slice of your life, a part of your life. Again, it has to have universal significance. You have biography, autobiography, essays, articles, documentary drama, literary journalism, narrative history. If you ask me, if you write a letter to the newspaper, that is creative nonfiction. So what is a fundamental rule? Fundamental rule is it has to be true. You can't lie. So you are saying the truth, but you are saying the truth in a creative way. That is creative nonfiction. And please look it up. There are several works on this. There are several opportunities in this area, and like I said, it is personally my passion, and everything I'm doing now is around this area of creative nonfiction. With that, I would like to conclude whatever I'm saying by reiterating that the possibilities are endless. What you need is the passion. You need to be passionate about the subject. You need to be passionate. If you're passionate about it, you will get faith and confidence in yourself. That, okay, I can be a teacher, I can be a writer, I can be something else. And if analytic analysis is your strength, yeah, there are areas like editing you can get into. Then you have the passion, you have to train yourself, to sort of put that passion into concrete, what do you say, action. Passion, training, action. And the most important thing I'm discovering here is honesty and integrity. Whether you're a writer or an editor or a teacher, it is the honesty, integrity that really take you, because if you can only, as they say, we can fool only for so long. Beyond that, we cannot. So if you are passionate about the subject, there are plenty of opportunities. Thank you very much. I hope I was able to convey whatever little, very little that I know about this area. I'm also discovering, learning day by day. And I will hand over the mic to Hari Padma.
Oh, thank you very much, Mallika, for that wonderful talk. To use your own metaphor, you took our minds out, not only of our heads, but also out of the country, and treated them to an excellent academic tour through the different MA programs and the courses offered there in different universities in the US, and the opportunities open for those who do their masters in English studies. And thank you for that very fairly comprehensive overview of English studies in the US, Malika. And to just make you aware, with NEP, New Education Policy, National Education Policy in place, we have undergraduate programs for a 4-year duration from this year onwards in all those states which have started implementing the National Education Policy. The undergraduate programs are all of 4-year duration from now on. So that's for your information, Monica.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to know, because it's so sad. You do a master's in Hyderabad Central University and you come here, they say, hey, you have only half of master's. So
yeah, I'm also happy to mention that we have with us in this webinar Professor D. Murali Manohar from the University of Hyderabad. Thank you, Professor Murali, for joining this webinar. We welcome you to this. Okay.
Thank you, Murali.
And now the session is open for interaction. Anyone can say anything. As I said, most of the participants are muted. You please, put your question in the chat box, or if you feel like speaking, you can just message that you want to speak, so that you can be unmuted. This is just to avoid the audio disturbance.
So, on behalf of International Office and my own students, I would like to thank Dr. Mallika. You touched upon various job opportunities and career paths for communication journalism students. Also, something is very interesting I find is MA Global Communication and professional writing. One question: usually we find a lot of scholarships for the for the technical courses like engineering and MBA. But what about the courses like communication or for English literature? Are there any scholarships available over there?
No scholarships as such, except high school students who do exceptionally well and qualify at undergrad level. They get general scholarship from university. Even those also, I am observing, are more in the area of the science and technology and such. For English, you are on your own pretty much. even at master's level. PhD, I understand. PhDs are fully funded. So for that reason, it's really hard to get into a PhD program here. So funding is a major thing. It's a major issue.
What would be the approximate cost for the MA? English literature?
It varies. So for example, like what I did is online and not for profit. So overall, it cost me, the entire program cost me about $22,000 overall. The $1,800 odd for per $1,890 per course. I had to do 12 courses because each course is 3 credits. I had to earn 36 credits. So if you take up study undergrad or grad at some of these private universities or Ivy League, the cost will go up to 40,000 or 30,000 per year.
This 22,000 is for 2 years.
Is for I took more than 2 years. This is 22,000 plus for the entire course.
Okay.
Entire 12 course program. So you pay per course. So for the entire program, I spent 22,000, 23,000 maximum. But whereas you join a traditional 2-year degree master's program or even undergrad program, the costs really shoot up.
My fundamental question is, when you moved to USA, didn't they accept your credits at Central University?
No, they did not. They did not accept the credits.
The unfair.
So to accept the credits, maybe some international schools they allow, but typically, the accreditations, if both the universities fall under the same accreditation agency, they can do credit transfer.
Oh, okay.
It works. That's what it works differently in the science field, science and technology field. But here I couldn't transfer my credits, so I had to do it all over again. Mm-hmm.
And something you mentioned that is interesting, and I'm not aware also. There are private agencies which evaluate the degree here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So every university, there are several agencies. So if you decide to apply to a certain university, the university has a list of those agencies, and they will only accept evaluation from those agencies.
Okay. So
and there is a fee. There is a fee. I spent about $400 at that time. Okay. It's not cheap, but it's not too expensive. It's a few $100. You get your course eval. You have to send. Here is the thing. I had a difficulty here too. You have to send in all your transcripts.
I know.
So whoever is that you must be, your students must be aware too. But whoever is planning to move abroad, please get transcripts from your parent universities, alma mater, whatever, and bring them along with you. It is such a headache to procure them.
I know. That's why some students used to take 20 copies. I used to wonder why are they taking?
Yes.
Then I got it,
Because they want only sealed original copies. Okay. So that is another problem. You can't give photocopy.
I leave it to the students because I'm asking from international office perspective. But
yes, ma'am.
Maybe I'll just leave it to the students.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, now it's open for anybody.
Dr. Mallika, thank you very much. It's very clear, direct to us. I think you made us partners in your journey of learning. We also learned along with you many things. And the last point I appreciate, because very honestly you said that honesty is the day where people have to be. That was touching. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Very kind of you.
That's Professor Bharati, the dean of our school, Mallika.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have not joined as dean. I'm a teacher in English department.
Yeah, professor of English. That's
She's primarily a professor of English, but right now she serves as the dean of our school.
Very
So-
nice, very nice, very nice
No,
to
a
have you.
compliment
Thank
from
you.
a dean means much more than a compliment from a professor. That is the reason why I mentioned you as dean, Professor Bharti garu.
Indeed, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. Others, please. So it looks like nobody has any questions. Everything seems to be. Yeah, somebody.
Maybe I can say a few words. I think with the initiative of Professor Haripadmarani, the department is bringing out a newsletter where students are encouraged to contribute their writings. Of course, not much. I don't know about the editing part of it, but a few students, especially from alumni, they are contributing, and I hope some of them may take up some course so that they can become writers. Take writing as seriously, like they may become in future, where we will take pride in saying that so and so writer is from our department.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for saying that. I can't stress enough on it. There are plenty of publications. See, I have started looking for opportunities very late in life. So there are many private publishers, independent publishers. It's a huge field now. You write an article, you again with honesty, integrity, and research. Write an article, write a poem, write a story, whatever you like to write. Send it out. You will get rejected like nobody's business. It doesn't matter. The 100 rejections, somewhere one will accept. It is really worth it because we all are writers. We just need to know how to put the thought on paper. There is nobody who is not a writer. If you think you can write, one of the greatest musicians ever to have walked on this earth, Pandit Jasraj, I had the fortune to just meet him in person once after concert. And I said, Pandit Ji, I'm only a student of music. I'm not a musician. He said, if you are a student of music, you're a musician. If you listen to music, you're a musician. That came from him. It applies to our literature and reading and English or Telugu, whatever language. If you read, you can be a writer. If you're a student, you're a writer. You have to push yourself to write. That is why that creative writing is really essential. It is not something that falls from heaven into our lap. It's not a moment of inspiration. No, it is all hard work. That's all.
Madam, namaste Andy. It's not
Namaste,
a question.
Andy.
Request to Malika Garu and Haripadma Garu and Vijayalakshmi Madam to arrange a separate webinar on music and dance studies in the USA. That would really help our department students and other musicians in India. Haripadma Madam,
Yeah, sure. We can in fact request Malika to do that because she's doing her masters in music, which she will be finishing in a couple of months.
I'm a student. There are many more experts. We can bring them.
Contact them.
Yes.
Thank you.
Faculty members of Silicon Andhra universities. There are some whom I don't know. I'm just talking from the top of my mind, but just saying there are so many experts. It is also it is a growing field in America, Indian fine arts and languages. So thank you for suggesting that.
So before someone can think of any question, Malika, I mean, this may seem a little out of place, but will you give us the privilege of listening to you? I mean, listening to any musical rendition from you, at least for a minute?
Seriously?
Seriously, yes, of course.
Haripadma, you will never let me go without asking me for a song. And you don't know what that means to me, but you know what? I'm no expert. I just sing, I'm happy to sing. but she is so loving and she is so kind and she loves music in general. So, well, I can sing a line or two if it's okay with everyone.
Yeah, please, please.
Please do.
Yeah.
You all are in Tirupati. Let us sing for Lord Venkateshwara today. Any song, right, Haribadma? You have any choice?
Anything that comes from you is fine.
కొండలలో నెలకొన్న.
Avuna? Sare.
No. You can sing anything you like. No problem, Malika.
I'm recovering from throat issues. Sriman Narayana Sriman Narayana Ni Shri Padame Sharanu Sriman Narayana Sriman Narayana Sriman Narayana Ni Sri Padame Sharanu Sriman Narayana Sriman Narayana Sriman Narayana Ni Sri Padame Sharanu Sri Padame Sharanu Kamala Sati Mukha Kamala Kamala Hita Kamala Priya Kamalekshana Kamala Sati Mukha Kamala Kamala Hita Kamala Priya Kamalekshana Kamala Salahita Garuda Gamala Sri Kamala Nabhani Pada Kamala Me Sharanu Kamala Salahita Garuda Gamala Sri Kamala Nabhani Pada Kamala Me Sharanu Sriman Narayana Sriman Narayana Sriman Narayana Ni Sri Padame Sharanu.
Thanks a ton, Malika. Now
Thank
for
you.
Bharati ma'am's sake, just the Pallavi of Kondalala.
Thank you.
Kondalalona sare.
Just the Pallavi.
Sare.
I think that's correct.
కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాటు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాటు కొండలంత వరములు గోపెడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు కొండలంత వరములు గోపెడువాడు కొండలలో నెలకొన్న కోనేటి రాయడువాడు
you so much.
Thank you. That was a nice. Thank you
So-
all so much for your warmth and for your welcoming acceptance of, like I said, I only shared what little I know, and I'm also learning and discovering. In fact, this webinar is inspiring me and motivating me to do more in this area. Thank you.
So you have, so it looks like no one has any questions. If that is it, then shall I request Dr. U. Himabindu, Assistant Professor in the Department of Bharatanatyam, and also a member of the International Relations Office. Say a vote of thanks. Over to Himabindu.
Thank you, madam. I take this as a great opportunity to thank today's webinar chief patrons, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Jamuna Duhuru madam, our Registrar, Professor Mamata madam, who have supported us to organize today's webinar on English studies in the USA. I sincerely thank our Dean, School of Social Sciences, Professor T. Bharati madam, for her presence and support. It's my pleasure to thank today's esteemed speaker, Mallika Vadlamani garu, for accepting our invitation and for delivering a very useful, informative and interesting talk on English studies in the USA. I thank our Dean, International Relations Office, Professor P. Vijayalakshmi Madam garu, and Dean Academic Affairs, Professor P. Haripadmarani Madam, for jointly organizing today's webinar. And I thank the distinguished members of International Relations Office and the students of English Department and Journalism Department and all the participants who participated in today's webinar. I also thank our SPMVV technical team for their technical support. I thank one and all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Himabindu. Thank you, everybody. So
I'm Haripadma. I'm putting my phone number, WhatsApp number, and my email address in the chat box. Or maybe you can share. Some students are asking some questions, and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
sure.
happy to give them information personally. Maybe can you share with them, Haripadma?
Sure. You just send them to me. I have your
Yes.
phone number, so you
Yeah,
can
but,
send. And I think I also have your mail ID.
Gmail, yes, but I'll send
Yeah.
again anyway. Somebody's asking a question and about the 4-year study here, and also I'll help them out once. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Malika. Once
Thank
again.
you. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you, Hari.
Thank you.
Namaste, madam. Namaste to everybody.
Namaste. Thank you.